This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. My name is Chase Sr., and we're talking Niners like we do every day here on the show. And here's everything that's coming up on the program. We have a Nick Bosa update as far as his injury, recovery, and a very interesting clause in his contract, which can actually save the Niners money on the cap next year. San Francisco also dealing with life without Nick Bosa. So they have signed a defensive end. The 49ers worked out several players today, including Shilo Sanders, the son of Dion, and of course the brother of Shadur. And we have a Trey Hendrickson update. Could the Niners pull off a blockbuster trade in the wake of losing Nick Bosa? Before we get to all of that, can we get the channel to 172,000 subscribers today? We're 225 people away from that number. And what you get when you lock us in and hit that sub button, daily and free Niner shows, which come your way every single day on YouTube. Do you want to become a more informed Niner fan? Do you want to be entertained from time to time? Do you want to be smarter about the game of football? We have you covered. Join the movement. Subscribe today, and let's get to that milestone. We have a new Nick Bosa update, and obviously there's a lot to get to with him, and this is going to be a storyline that we're going to continue to have to monitor over the next several months going into 2026. Of course, the simple news, he's out for the year with the torn ACL. And what sucks about Bosa, how great of a player he is not easy to replace because of how impactful he is. This year, he was on his way to having another all-pro season. He looked fantastic the first 2+ games of the year with Robert Saleh as the play caller. He was putting Bosa in a position to succeed, and he was getting really creative with how he utilized Bosa. Right defensive end, left defensive end, right defensive tackle, left defensive tackle, twists, stunts, gains, being able to isolate him one-on-one so that he wasn't getting double-teamed so often. And he gets double-teamed against Arizona. His foundation, his legs beneath him get a little bit out of whack, and he tears that right ACL. What also stinks is you worry about the future of the player with all of the injuries that he suffered throughout his football life. And this is a guy who was voted as a team captain by his peers, so they really respect him. The coaching staff loves him. He loves the game of football, takes it very seriously, and he takes his body really seriously. And it's kind of disrespecting him to a certain degree, right? Because in 2015, Bosa, as a high school senior, suffered a partially torn right ACL, had to get surgery. 2018, his final year at Ohio State, core muscle surgery. 2020, year 2 in the NFL, he tore his left ACL. 2024, last year, year 6, he suffered that groin injury, missed 3 games. In 2025, here in game 3 on Sunday, year 7, he tears his right ACL. So he's been robbed of a lot of valuable moments and really 2 years of his NFL career, which impacts, obviously, what he's going to be able to accomplish as an NFL player. Dr. Nirav Pandya is a doctor who was on the radio in the Bay Area, I believe 97.5 The Game, and he did have this to say about Bosa's recovery. The hard thing when you go through a second ACL surgery is that the knee has already been operated on. There's going to be a lot of wear and tear in there. There potentially could be some degeneration over time. And when we think of a first-time ACL, it's usually 9 months. Second time can sometimes be up to a year just getting your strength and mobility back. Now, Bosa is in tip-top shape. He's in his late 20s. Let's hope that he's able to come back from this injury sooner rather than later. But that's not the best diagnosis or timeline for him. But what could help out the Niners is something interesting here, that they have an injury insurance policy in Bosa's contract. And here's how it goes, according to NBC Sports Bay Area. After Nick Bosa suffered that season-ending torn ACL, the 49ers now will receive $7 million in 2026 salary cap space because of an insurance policy they took out in the 5-year, $170 million contract extension that he signed in 2023. Of note, cap space can be rolled over. The 49ers, if they want to make a move now for a star, they'd be able to take on that contract. They're 5th in the NFL in cap space with $26.6 million. Again, that money can be rolled over to next year. As of right now, the Niners in 2026, $13.8 million. That's 18th in the NFL. But with that $7 million, because of that insurance policy, it'll go up to nearly $22 million. So I guess there's a positive in what is a huge negative for the Niners. And of course, San Francisco dealing with life after Nick Bosa. They have signed a defensive end to the practice squad. William Bradley King worked out for the Niners today, and he's been added to the taxi squad. He was a 2021 seventh-round pick out of Arkansas State. He has a half sack in his NFL career. He's hopped around on a couple of different teams, mostly as a practice squatter. 6'3", 265 pounds. Trevin Gibson, I think, is a practice squad player who the Niners might elevate, who could help absorb the blow of Bosa being out. Outside of William Bradley King, the Niners also worked out these players. Joseph Brandon, DB out of Notre Dame, and William Bradley King went to Arkansas State and Baylor. Titus Leo, he played his college football at Wagner. Jalen Mahoney, he's been with this team, defensive back, safety, Vanderbilt. Shilo Sanders, safety out of Colorado, and Isaiah Thomas, linebacker out of Oklahoma. As far as Shilo Sanders goes, this obviously will catch the attention of a lot of people because he's the son of Dion, the brother of Shador. He spent training camp and the preseason with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was a part of the final roster cutdown for Tampa Bay, so he did not make the initial 53. And in scouting him, he, of course, has the NFL bloodlines. His dad, Dion, probably the best cornerback of all time and one of the best athletes in the history of professional sports. He does pack a punch at the safety spot. He is a hard-hitting downhill safety. On the back end, he's better downhill. In coverage, he lacks range and instincts. Not the fastest player. He does have solid vision and aggression, good football instincts. He is older for being a rookie, so that's, of course, a little bit of a concern. 25 years old for his rookie season, and he has dealt with injuries. He's been injured in each of the last 3 years. His relative athletic score, only a 4.52 in the pre-draft, and that's a big reason why he did not get drafted. Just an average athlete, and both him and Shador, they did not get the athletic bloodlines and traits that Dion had as a professional baseball player. He was a damn good outfielder for the Atlanta Braves, and I believe he played for the New York Yankees too. And then obviously a Hall of Fame corner with the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, the Baltimore Ravens, and he played for a really long time. Shilo, only 5'11", under 200 pounds. The 40-yard dash in the pre-draft, only a 4.55. And at Colorado, you saw that on tape, where he really didn't have a lot of speed to his game, did have the physicality, but with the lack of athletic juice, sometimes he would have some lapses and get beat in coverage. Now, coming up next here on the show, could the 49ers trade for Trey Hendrickson, star pass rusher for the Cincinnati Bengals after the Nick Bosa injury? We're going to get into that with some insight and intel on the other side. Let's give a shout out to our sponsor, Tushy. If you don't have a Tushy, you're missing out. It has changed the lives of myself, producer Chip, Trizzy Trace, and right now you can save big on Tushy if you use the code CHAT at hellotushy.com/chat. If you don't know what it is, Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. Look, sometimes when you eat some foods, you drink some fluids, it can get a little bit sloppy when you hit the toilet. You can take care of that, though, with Tushy. 99% of people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. Tushy Wave instantly modernizes your daily routine and bathroom with a super sleek seat plus 2 separate front and rear nozzles for the most complete clean. It also features a soft close lid and a seat that's slam-proof for a gentle, luxurious finish. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet without the need for additional plumbing. This is daily decadence with practical benefits. Over half the people who wash with Tushy soothe their hemorrhoids, and 9 out of 10 people reduce itching and discomfort. And it's all very easy to install. Instead of wiping endlessly as well with toilet paper, Tushy pristinely removes 99% of bacteria while protecting your natural skin barrier thanks to one natural ingredient. It's only fresh water. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. Remember, a-hole is only a dirty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use the code chat at hellotushy.com/chat. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com/chat with the promo code chat. 8.5 do-it-yourself install. As far as minutes go, no outlet needed. Fits 95% of toilets. Fresh as tap water. We'll put all that information down below in the comment section and in the description of today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, all right, to the back half of the show. After the 49ers lost Nick Bosa for the rest of the year with that torn ACL, could San Francisco make a blockbuster move? And could they call up the Cincinnati Bengals to trade for Trey Hendrickson? This is, of course, probably the biggest name who the Niners could trade for, and I have a couple of reasons for why it could happen. Here's why the 49ers could trade for Trey Hendrickson after losing Nick Bosa for the rest of the 2025 season with that torn ACL. The 49ers have shown with their 3-0 start how they played defensively, how they performed offensively with two different quarterbacks. They can win now. They can compete in 2025. And when you make a blockbuster move like this, it gives the rest of the locker room belief and confidence that the guys upstairs, the front office, also believe in the current existing players on the roster, that they can go out and they can compete for a championship this season. And the 49ers, obviously, in losing Nick Bosa, lost an elite player. And he's been one of the top pass rushers in the game. Well, if you trade for Trey Hendrickson, you gain one. And so you're able to neutralize that loss to a certain degree. And I know that the Bengals are 2-1 right now, but Jake Browning is their quarterback. Joe Burrow is out until December. He had turf toe so bad, he had to undergo surgery. They're not going to be competing for a playoff spot in a loaded AFC, and it wouldn't surprise me if they start to stack up losses soon, which could make Hendrickson expendable. And the Bengals are a joke of a franchise. They are historically cheap. No player in the NFL has more sacks the last 2 years than Hendrickson. 17.5 in 2023 and 2024. Yet, they didn't give him an extension when he wanted it, when he wanted to stay with Cincinnati. Not a desirable place for a lot of players across the NFL. So all they did was up his pay in 2025. They gave him no long-term security, no contract extension, and so clearly he's not a part of their plans. Hendrickson, be a part of the Niners' plans. John Lynch, go get him. Now, Tim Kawakami said this on Hendrickson, that the 49ers have liked him for a while. He did say, I don't think the Bengals were picking up the phone the last few years, but if they did, the 49ers would have talked to them. They liked him a lot. Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and Trey Hendrickson are the guys I've always heard that if they were going to get another big defensive end, they like to get one of those guys. It's pretty telling right there from a guy who's very plugged in and has been one of the top Bay Area sports reporters for a very long time. Of course, as part of this, you have to think about what a trade package might look like. And if I'm Cincinnati, I'm asking for a first-round pick. Now, it's September, and the asking price for Hendrickson probably isn't as high now as it may have been early in the offseason, but this is one of the top pass rushers in the game. Maybe you could get him for a second-round pick, but you'd probably have to give up multiple picks in order to get him. And the starting asking price would probably be a first. But the Niners are equipped with some really good draft capital in 2026. They have hit on their last two drafts in 2024 and 2025, and with that, they've been able to fill out the roster with a lot of young, intriguing players who are starters and depth pieces. And looking ahead to the 2026 draft, the Niners have their own first, their own second, their own third. They have 3/4, two of which slotted compensatory selections. They have a 5th-round compensatory pick, and then a 6th from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I don't think a trade would happen right away. I think the 49ers want to gauge and see how they fare without Bosa over the next few weeks going into the deadline. But if this defense struggles without number 97 and they can't generate a pressure on the quarterback consistently, and they're still winning games and in the thick of a playoff hunt, that's when they can make a move. And that's when the Bengals, on their end, might be out of the playoff picture. So what say you? Should the Niners trade for Trey Hendrickson? T for trade, P for pass. As always, join the conversation down in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe.